We start today with breaking news. There is a verdict in the political corruption trial of Tony Rezko. We are getting word he is guilty on at least some counts. And here you see Rezko arriving at the Dirksen Federal Building within the last half hour.
During the trial that began on March 3rd, Rezko, a Wilmette businessman and Democratic Party campaign fundraiser, was accused of using his influence to stack state boards and trying to get kickbacks from companies who wanted to do business with those boards. There was testimony during the trial that Rezko controlled appointments made by Governor Rod Blagojevich during Blagojevich's first administration. They are mostly guilty verdicts of those 24 counts that had been filed against Tony Rezko. Let's look at the scorecard now. There were 12 counts. Mr. Rezko found guilty of 12 of the 15 counts of mail and wire fraud. There were 2 counts of solicitation of funds, corrupt solicitation of funds. He was found guilty of those. And as we move along, he was found guilty, though, of 2 counts of money laundering. Those charges filed in this very extensive corruption indictment. Those charges against Mr. Rezko, again, were filed in October of 2006, this very wide-ranging indictment into those behind-the-scenes political players in the state of Illinois. Again, this case goes back some 4 years when these corruption indictments were filed related to Governor Rod Blagojevich's first term in office.
Antoine Tony Rezko was indicted in October of 2006. He was charged with 24 criminal counts, including mail fraud, extortion, and money laundering. The indictment alleged that the 52-year-old Rezko, one of the top fundraisers for Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, schemed with Republican insider Stuart Levine, who was a member of 2 state boards, to extort kickbacks from private companies who wanted to do business with those boards. The government alleged that during 2003 and 4, Rezko held such influence with Blagojevich he could stack state boards to do his illegal bidding. The governor has repeatedly denied Rezko had such clout in his administration. The government's star witness against Rezko was Levine, who pleaded guilty in an attempt to get a reduced prison term. He was appointed by Republican governors Edgar and Ryan during the 1990s to the Illinois Hospital Facilities Planning Board and the Teachers Retirement System. Levine told the jury that Rezko helped him get reappointed after Democrat Blagojevich took office. He testified he met with Rezko dozens of times at Rezko's office on the near north side to plan the kickback and extortion schemes.
Hello.
Tony?
Yes.
Stuart?
Hi, Stuart.
How are you?
Good, good. How about yourself?
Okay.
As part of its investigation, the FBI secretly recorded conversations on Levine's home telephone during which he made references to Rezko's alleged role.
If we don't get it finished today, Tony's not going to do business anymore like
Rezko has donated or raised millions of dollars for dozens of Illinois political candidates. The amount includes over $150,000 to U.S. Senator Barack Obama, the presidential candidate, who since the indictment says he has donated all Rezko-linked contributions to charity.
I asked U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald late this afternoon if his office would ask Judge Amy St. Eve to reduce Rezko's sentence if Rezko agrees to provide information on other corruption in Illinois state government.
And I'm not going to address the specifics of what would happen if Mr. Rezko cooperated.
A federal judge will not make a quick decision on the release of taped telephone conversations of Governor Rod Blagojevich made by federal agents. In an unprecedented move, U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald is asking the judge to release a portion of tapes to the Illinois House Special Impeachment Committee.
A lawyer for the House committee working on the impeachment said the committee would like the tapes delivered with all deliberate speed, but at the same time, not having them won't halt the process.
These tapes are not make or break. These tapes are not crucial to our decision. They are another piece of relevant information in a large volume of evidence that we already have.
Let me take you back 8 weeks ago to set the allegations in context. Back 8 weeks ago, we had the following environment. There was a known investigation of the Blagojevich administration that had been going on for years involving allegations of pay-to-play conduct and corruption. There had been a recent trial of an associate of Governor Blagojevich in which allegations were aired where people testified that Governor Blagojevich was involved in corrupt conduct. We remind people that there's an awful lot we do know, and we'll be able to verify what people tell us, but we ask that the press in particular recognize that we're not casting aspersions on people other than the two people we charged, and bear that in mind and be responsible. There's a hospital, a Children's Memorial Hospital, believing that it's getting $8 million, but its CEO has not coughed up a campaign contribution. And the thought that that money may get pulled back from a Children's Memorial Hospital is something that you cannot abide.
Perception, and you said twice that we shouldn't cast aspersions on people who we think we recognize within the complaint. Does that mean that all of these people are beyond blame in any way? I mean, some of the things in the complaint point a very kind of a tacky finger at some people.
Now we'll go to the back. Yes.
And one of the things I think that people out there look at is they go, the governor's known he's been under investigation for several years now, and yet he would still engage, allegedly, in this kind of activity.
This investigation has been going on for years now. With these new charges, what's going to happen to the other lines of investigation that have been going on?
Is Rezko's is he going to be testifying as part of this case at all, and is his sentencing pushed off or moved by any of this?
What I'm trying to do is explain caution about a complaint. When someone says something that's on tape, largely they're stuck with it. But when someone says something on tape about someone else, you usually want to do more investigation to verify what it is that happened. And if I were someone who wanted to pay to play, I think this would be about the worst time to try to make a cash contribution to someone to get something illegal. But I was not going to wait until March or April or May to get it all nice and tidy and then bring charges and then say, by the way, all this bad stuff happened because no one was aware of it back in December. I think that would be irresponsible. But if you look at the complaint, it cites back to wiretap conversations from the conversations we wiretapped way back in 2004, and we've been filing charges based upon that wiretap up until quite recently.
As you may know, former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich has been charged with a variety of felonies in connection with allegedly selling Barack Obama's Senate seat.
But it is a crime in and of itself for people to scheme to violate the law. That's called conspiracy. But the real effort to clean up corruption is going to start with the citizenry, people who are going to speak up and say something when it's wrong. And that tells you that there are people out there who are pretty damn angry and are willing to step up to the plate and say, I'm not going to complain about it, I'm going to do something about it.